What's up, boys? DJ Longname here with a fear of women and a raging monster addiction. So, Borderlands 2 challenge run. I decided to ask Reddit what they wanted, and naturally being me, I chose the harder option. For fun, of course.
There are rules, man.
The rules of the run. There are no guns allowed, no shields allowed, and legendary nades can only be used on one enemy. Yes, I hate myself.
Enough talk.
With that said, we can finally start the run, knock off BAR, decide we're running down Green Tree, let the monkey be happy, and first problem. You cannot get a grenade this early on. It is not possible.
Or is it?
Heading over to Digistruct P, we go dumpster diving and eventually find a grenade. Our newfound Pokeball proves to be effective. Tune in for this week's Royal Rumble, kids, where we watch a big angry monkey fight another big angry monkey. A few deaths and a level up later, we finally get to meet Sir Hammerlock.
Google, show me this guy's balls, please.
Boom Boom was next, and they were no problem because this grenade is too overpowered. It was also at this point I decided to stop using the rocket because it's too broken. Oh, I have an action skill now. With our newfound action skill, we run past Flint's men. Flint's boss fight was about as painful as you could expect for this build, so I ended up running around like a monkey for 15 minutes till deciding to beat him in a very legitimate way. This might be the most fucking cheese thing I've ever done. Grabbing a new part to unlock cars so we can drive, we try and save Roland's boyfriend, only to be playing Dead by Daylight for 15 minutes. Look at his fucking head. Picking up the power core, we meet the town mechanic, get him his 2 VR controllers, meet up with the average drop shipping bro, run over to Frostburn Canyon, getting abused for around 15 minutes trying to meet Lilith. Full sprinting our way past most of the enemies, we finally meet Lilith, the e-girl herself.
Mommy milkers, big.
Grabbing Lilith's medication, she carries us through the next fight. The first side quest was next. Like the gypsy I truly am, I managed to rob all the car parts needed to rescue Roland, completing the In Memoriam questline. That's a surprise tool that will help us later. We begin to run our way through the Bloodshot stronghold. Nade spamming our way through like the chimp we are, we run into Badmore. Hiding on the rooftops like the vigilante I truly am, we managed to kill Badmore and enter the Bloodshot stronghold. Throwing our turret off cooldown and turning on some of the best tunes you've heard in your life, we continue nade spamming our way through this. At this point in the run, there wasn't really any challenge, it was mainly just making sure we still had the nades to carry on through. And those of you who watched the last video will be pleasantly surprised to know that Mad Mike was not a problem at all this time around. Meeting up with Roland, the damsel in distress, he gets kidnapped like the useless fuck he truly is, and we run on over to the ramparts. Luckily I had acquired a corrosive grenade to deal with all the loaders. I don't know. Sprinting our way through the ramparts, we run into our second issue of this run. For some reason, Borderlands 2 loves to crash. With the game reloaded, we managed to run through the ramparts again and make our way to Warden. Now, unfortunately, not having a good enough grenade to take care of Warden and not being powerful enough, Warden gets away. After Warden escaped, I decided it was probably time for us to acquire our first legendary of the run. I decided to use the fastball against Warden, and you know what that means, the fastball has been used up, so we lob that shit in the bin and carry on with the run. I spoke to the gang, I go to an AA meeting, we meet Oppenheimer, taking care of some nightmare fuel, we grab bunny number 1 and bunny number 2, and head on over to Wilhelm. My first attempt at killing Wilhelm didn't go so well, nor did my second. Eventually realizing I had the wrong grenade type, I switched over to a Tesla, and he was no problem at all. Using Wilhelm's power core, we realised that Jax fucked us. Pressing 2 buttons and grabbing Lilith her crystal, we managed to make the city start flying. Full sprinting our way through the fridge and jumping off a cliff like a bad man, we head over to the Highlands Outwash. The Outwash is the point in the game when this starts getting a lot more painful than you'd expect. There is a certain constructor bot that hangs on the other side of a bridge, and he was bullying me for an extensive period of time. The robots in the area were also bullying me, but surprisingly for those of you who watched the last video, the badass Thresher at the back of this compound was no problem at all. I managed to actually beat him first try. I decided to collect our second legendary grenade of this run, and that was the Stormfront. Heading over to the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve, we lobbed some stones at some blokes, run past all the wildlife, and encounter an enemy that was a bit of a pain. The super badass loader here was a real big problem for me, so I ended up doing the tried and tested mechanic of basically just running around him, lobbing a grenade, and then running away some more. It does work, and that's fine. Opening the boxes to try and get something better from the loot midgets, we realised that there's nothing better than the Stormfront for this fight. Bloodwing! Using the Stormfront against Bloodwing didn't exactly make her no problem at all. Oh, really? Okay, this boss fight's gonna fucking hate. The main problem in this boss fight is the elemental damage. Not having a shield was really starting to show its problems, especially with the fire damage phase of this fight. I actually managed to kill Bloodwing, but at this point the game decided to start crashing again. Oh, that's hot. Which was lovely. Grabbing the tag off Bloodwing and watching her go boom, we give Claptrap a high five and run over to Thousand Cuts. Massacring every bandit in sight, naturally their leader congratulates us. I attempted to do the best quest line in this game, only to find out that the turret just won't shoot. Waiting for Brick to destroy some mortar beacons. Opportunity was next. Opportunity was a bit of a area. Everything kept killing me at this point, I'm not going to lie. The lack of a shield was really torturous here. Jack himself, or Jack's double rather, was a big problem for fucking ages here. A few more deaths later, I eventually embraced my inner Mario and was able to beat Jack. Breaking into the headquarters of Twitter, X, and stealing the files we need. Next on our agenda was the trip up to Bunker, and oh my fucking lord, was this torturous! Now, the ascent to Bunker is difficult on some normal runs, however, I was very clearly underleveled here and being obliterated by everyone near me, especially with the lack of a shield. So I took this time to go and do some side quests, run around the fridge, kill an old random woman, kill someone's pet, take revenge on old Slappy for all the pain he caused me in the last video. Yes, I hate you. Even after all these side quests, realizing I was still too far underleveled for this, I decided to go and farm the super badass loader for an extra level. Upon doing this, we attempt to ascend to Bunker again, only to spend 20 minutes hiding in a tunnel, spamming my turret off cooldown while hiding from bombardment after bombardment after I can't talk! Hiding from bombardment after bombardment. There we go. And eventually we made our way up to Bunker. Bunker himself was an extremely boring fight, as he often is with these challenge runs. This entire fight essentially just consisted of me running around like a headless chicken and spamming my turret off cooldown, while also spamming my homing corrosive grenades as often as I could, running downstairs to buy more if need be. Surprisingly enough, the boss here isn't actually the main threat, it's the loader bots that are running around the arena. But with enough running around, Bunker falls. Control Core Angel was next, and that was basically just obliterating 3 injectors and killing a small child. Roland gets capped, we jump to our death, and the Toil and Trouble questline was next. Now, if you thought the Bunker area was torturous, buckle in, kiddos. This area was just as torturous. Anyway, after enough bashing my skull off a wall, I was eventually able to kill the 4 commanders and destroy Boombringer. Encapsulating our favourite segment from my previous video by running up an elevator and dying over and over again, this time around we just sat there for 20 minutes waiting for my turret to kill everything. I know, very dull. Deciding to farm mortar for our final grenade of this run, the Pandemic, which we were going to use on the Warrior. With mortar dead, it was on to the data mining questline, which was essentially just trying to deal with some of the most annoying Hyperion enemies in the game, this Hyperion Hawk included. I hate you so much. After much trial and error, I was eventually able to turn on the 2 pumps and reach the pipeline that had now ruptured. Upon entering the next area, I decided to do the Uncle Teddy questline for some extra XP. Dealing with Saturn in the only way I know how, which is just running past him and hoping he doesn't kill me. Yes, I did fail this a few times. Upon realizing that I wasn't strong enough yet to just run past Saturn, I decided to go and do some more quests. This time it was down to Caustic Caverns. I would pick up 4 things, dodge some more nightmare fuel, and head back. After this, I took care of Hunter Hellquest with some more XP. No B shield drop though, sadly. And this time, after much trial and error, we were able to run past Saturn successfully. However, just because we got past Saturn doesn't mean we were in the clear. Next up was the big constructor bot and the loaders that spawn in front of us, as well as all the other Hyperion employees, which were equally as torturous to run past. Unfortunately, I was able to make it to the terminal first try here. However, I died before I was able to pick up the device. No, please. Which basically meant a few minutes of screaming. After swallowing my pride and realizing I'll have to do this again, I was able to complete this questline. With the location of Jack's pawn stash revealed, we were able to head on over to the Iridium Blight and help Claptrap rizz up a robot, where Borderlands 2 did his signature move of crashing. Upon reloading the game and helping Claptrap rizz her successfully, we were able to head on over to the Hero's Pass, where, guess what, we realised we were underleveled again, so it was back to more side quests. Mid-side quest, Borderlands did its signature yet again. We were eventually able to make our way through Hero's Pass. With a bit of luck and deception, I was able to run my way past pretty much every enemy here and make it to the Warrior. Switching over to the Pandemic, the final grenade of this run, Handsome Jack falls to us, and he summons his pet. The Warrior, the point in the game where you're at the end of it. The Warrior for this build was an exceptionally painful task. You fucking, oh my god, he had a fucking tenth of himself left of the fucking bitch. Oh, why do I exist? The Warrior does mainly fire damage, which when you don't have a shield is exceptionally risky and dangerous for you. It doesn't help that Borderlands does its signature of crashing here. Speaking of crashing, it just fucking crashed. And the Warrior's hitboxes for its attacks are pretty dodgy. Wait, what? I get melted with fire breath through a fucking stone wall. Not to mention, I got stuck on a rock a few times while I was trying to run away from him. But with enough trial and error, and I do mean a lot of trial and error, oh my god, the Warrior eventually falls. And with that, Borderlands 2 is completed without a shield, without guns, and limiting legendary grenades to only bosses. That was Borderlands 2. This video took a lot more time than I was expecting it to. Work was getting in the way, and I didn't feel as creative as I could have been. Not to mention, my editing skills do need work. I'm not perfect, I do recognize that. But for those of you who managed to stay long enough to realize this monologue is here, thank you for watching, and if you could drop me a like or a subscription, that would be much appreciated. I do also stream on Twitch. The link will be down below if you want that. And let me know what else you want to see, to be honest. I'm kind of getting bored of Borderlands now. Don't know if I want to do any more torturous runs of this game. I would like to get in touch with my roots and make more content with my friends if possible, or even with you lot if you wanted to do group things. But other than that, I really appreciate it. Thank you all.